Most people know that eating a healthy diet is important, but without learning specific cooking skills, it's easy to eat pre-made, processed rubbish or order in all the time. So in this video, I'm going to learn how to cook better and hopefully, if the habit sticks, live 10 years longer. What you're currently seeing is me making one of my standard meals. I'll dig out some random freezer stuff, chuck it in the oven for 20 minutes, and the result is this. A colour-filled, beautiful looking dish. This needs to change, so this week I'm going to be cooking meals I've never made before while sharing some tips on how to get into cooking. Right, meal 1. Roasted sea bream with herbed smashed potatoes. This video isn't sponsored, but if companies like Green Chef, HelloFresh and Gusto didn't exist, I would still be mostly eating processed food, eat almost zero veg, and have very little variety in my diet. These companies introduced me to foods I wouldn't have tried otherwise, and more importantly, they've turned cooking into a habit that I actually enjoy. Meal 2. Turkey steak, bacon, kale and carrots. Now you're probably thinking or have heard that these kits are expensive, and compared to going out and buying every single ingredient, yeah, it costs more, but in my non-sponsored opinion, it's worth the extra cost. That being said, all the meal kit companies usually offer a decent join-in discount, so join HelloFresh for a few weeks, use up their special deal, then unsubscribe if you want and move on to a different company and use one of their deals. Carrots are a standard bit of veg that I wouldn't want to eat, let alone cook, a few years ago, but now after experimenting with a few different ways of making them and making them taste better, I actually enjoy them. I want to quickly talk about the French paradox. French people have fairly low rates of heart disease and obesity, even though they consume loads of saturated fats. Why? Well, it's all because of their habits from cooking meals from scratch, consuming low amounts of processed food, and having a low snacking culture. And if you compare that with Americans, who have fairly high rates of heart disease and obesity, they regularly snack, rarely do home cooking, and consume a lot of processed food. Basically, what I'm trying to say is you can still eat a good amount of fatty foods and stay healthy, as long as you mostly eat whole foods, cook meals from scratch sometimes, and avoid constant snacking. Something else I want to point out is that eating a shitty diet is linked to more deaths worldwide than smoking, which I found pretty surprising the first time I heard it. You see loads of old people smoking cigarettes, but how often do you see overweight old people? That's not to say smoking's fine to do, obviously it's got a good chance of killing you, but it just puts into perspective how important your diet is. Another topic is fasting. When you stop eating for a while, a thing called autophagy happens. This is basically quality control for your insides. So it removes worn out cells and uses up old ones. And that means you're slowing down the process of disease. Another thing is that the brain tends to prefer running on ketones,
which is what it runs on while you're fasting,
rather than glucose,
which is what it runs on after you eat.
So getting into the habit of fasting every few days will improve your mental clarity and reduce your chances of disease. I would say start implementing healthier foods into your diet as soon as possible and try the occasional fast. The best way, in my opinion, to start eating better is these meal kits. So get a HelloFresh sign up deal, play about with those meals for a few weeks and get into the habit of cooking meals from scratch. You're never going to turn into a person that only cooks and eats whole foods. That just wouldn't be fun and you'd be missing out on a lot. But if you can make 80% of your diet whole foods that are fairly healthy, you'll be doing yourself a lot of good. It's easy to overcomplicate everything when it comes to cooking, but if you can find a way to dedicate a solid week or month to learning a few basic things, it can go a long way.
I'm not a licensed nutritionist, and all my advice is based on personal experience and a little research. So consult with a qualified expert if you're planning on making any major changes to your diet.